All right, Ash, you ready?
The weather outside is beautiful.
Go.
All right. Bechukotai, welcome everyone. Today's shiur is going to be for Mordechai ben Yafa. We have a shiur, and everybody knows Parashat Bechukotai. Right? What is this Parashat Bechukotai? Everybody knows. What does it say when it says Im Bechukotai telechu? What does that mean? Im Bechukotai telechu. It says, Rashi brings down, now everybody knows this, but I'm going to ask you a question. The question I want to ask you is like this: that for sure it means Torah. Rashi says it, but it should say Im Bechukotai tilmedu. What is it saying over here? Im Bechukotai telechu. What does that Rashi explain? It means that what you are Torah. Work hard for Torah. It should say Im Bechukotai tilmedu. What's Im Bechukotai telechu? And to this, you have to know, they bring down that that a person in life, it's Torah is a halicha. Im Bechukotai telechu, Torah is a halicha. What does it mean? It's a way of life. What does it mean, a way of life? You know, sometimes in life, when you have business, right? Let's say, for example, you have a plumber, you have an electrician, you have a doctor. The doctor is learning in order to know. Once he knows how to practice. Did you ever see a doctor that went to medical school for 16 years, and after 16 years of medical school, he says, oh, by the way, I'm not practicing. So wait, you went to 16 years and you're not practicing? How could that even being a doctor? Think about it. Imagine learning 16 years, I'm being a doctor, and all of a sudden you learn everything about being a doctor. Say, all right, go be a doctor. What does he do? He doesn't, he's not a doctor. He doesn't go to the hospitals to do the surgery. So wait, why'd you learn all the surgery? It doesn't make sense, right? But by Torah, it's not like that. By Torah, sometimes a person in life, there was a guy sitting and learning once, and he wasn't always learning, but he was learning once in a while, here, there. So one of the guys in the shul go to him and says, why don't you learn more? He says, what do you mean? I'm not going to be a rabbi. It has nothing to do with you being a rabbi and not being a rabbi. Torah is our life. Meaning to say, hey, I'm not a rabbi. I understand. You don't have to be a rabbi to learn. No, but I have to learn that much. What are you talking about? Everybody's going to be asked if you learned the whole Torah. Did you learn why didn't you? You have valid excuse? Great. If not, not. And therefore, what he's trying to say is the halicha of life, the way of life is what? The way of life is not just learning to know how to do a mitzvah. People learn, I need to learn halachot in order to do the halachot. That's true. But it's more than that. It's learning for the sake of learning just to know, even though there's a lot of things that if you look at Shas, it'll never apply. You never ever have it. Like, Rabbi, why am I learning this? This will never happen. You have a sugya in Tzirurot, where the cow is going and Hamor is going, and he put a rock and it flung. What's the chance of that even happening? There's even a case. I remember one case, a wild case that happened. Like it fell. If what happened if the cleat fell from there and it hit that I was like, the chance of that happening is probably 1 in 150 million. Like what are we learning about that? Because the purpose of learning is we're not learning only to do. Of course we're learning to do the mitzvot, but we're learning for the sake of learning Torah, because of the Torah, to know not only what to do and to actually, but the actual learning it is our life. And the proof is, it says Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, it says over there, it says, nowadays we have no korbanot. It says nowadays we have no korbanot. So he says, so what's going to be with the korbanot? You know what the answer is? When you learn, it's as if you're bringing the korban itself. How is that possible? When you learn, is as if you're bringing the korban itself. Because you have to understand something. The learning in itself, just the learning of it, it is the way of life. It is right there what we're doing. That's our life itself. And that's why it doesn't say im bechukotai tilmedu. It says im bechukotai telechu. You have to have a halicha. Your life has to be Torah, everything. You know, there's famous stories how when there was a big Rav from Eretz Yisrael that came to Manhattan for the first time in his life, and he never saw buildings like this in his life, so high, so tall, and he's thinking of the sugyot of Shas. Oh wait, if a sukkah is built on that floor, is it kosher? Like what? What do you do that? Oh, could you light a menorah on that floor? That's his mind. He always goes, can I light a menorah on that floor from here? There? What's going on? You know what's going on with it? What are we thinking? Oh wow, how much money rent does this guy get? Right? That's what we're thinking, right? Wow, what a big building, how much rent guy comes in? He must be a big beer. And what is the guy all asuk in Torah thinking? He's in his mind, he's saying, wow, I put wait 1 second. Could I put a sukkah over there? Could I put a menorah over there? Oh, is this kosher for mezuzah? The whole thing, because that's his mind. His mind is his life, is Torah. And that's why it says, what does it say? It says, V'dibarta abam b'shivtecha bevetecha uletecha v'derech uv'shok b'alkumecha. It should have said, V'dibarta abam, talk in Torah, b'yomam v'layla. It doesn't say that. What should it say? It should say, V'dibarta abam, yomam v'layla. Learn Torah day and night. How come it doesn't say that? Learn Torah, it says, but when it says, it says, speak about it, what? Not day and night. It says, speak about it, when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking, why should it, just say, talk Torah day and night. Is there any time where there's no day, no night? So that's it. Why did the Torah specifically say, V'dibarta abam? When V'dibarta abam? What does it say, V'dibarta abam? Well, the answer is very simple. The answer is, you come and you just relax in your house from a whole hard day, everything like that. You relax. And you say, now to learn, I'm done. You're sitting home? What do you do? I'm steig, I'm learning. You know, I came back today from, we had a trip for high school that they learned the whole year. The whole year they learned 2 to 3 times a week at night. After school, a group of boys that we were dealing with. And we promised them if they don't miss, they'll go on this trip. Your brother went on, right? Your brother went on? So that was the trip. Anyway, guess what? I landed, the shiur starts over here about 8:30, 8:45. I landed at 7:45. It takes about an hour to get it. Since 7:45 until we got out was 7:45. And that's why he called you up to tell you got to pay extra, right? So we get there. I get home literally at 8:30. So I have basically 15 minutes to get here. And I ate quickly and I came straight right away. And one of my kids died. You just got, like, what are you doing? So let me tell you something. Torah is our life. You know, I'll come back in another hour. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back. Let me give my shiur. We'll be back. But a person might say to himself, wait, 1 second. Rabbi, you just came out from a long this and doing that. You're tired. Take a night off. I could have done that. No. Why? Because when you know Torah is your life, it's not a burden. It's a pleasure. You understand? You don't feel that it's avodah. You feel that it's a pleasure just to learn itself. That's the level that we have to get to, where we're opening up our Gemara and we're just feeling a pleasure just to be opening up our Gemara. Like, whoa, just to be opening up our Gemara, that is the sweetness of the Torah. Like the Or Chaim HaKadosh says, a person will go meshuga if he tasted the sweetness of Torah. There's a famous story that I just saw, Rosh Salante's Talmidim, Isa Petterberger. Unbelievable story. You got to hear this story. Unbelievable, really, really unbelievable. What happens? Story goes that they went, his students, and they're sitting down. There was an almana, and they want to, make her feel good. And she was telling them about, they were sitting all b'derech eretz around the table, talking about her ducks. She had some ducks, and she's talking to the talmidim. They were there. My duck and this. They're all b'derech eretz sitting down at the table calmly. All of a sudden, Rabbi Yosef Palacci says, I finally got this svara of the Rashba. I got this svara of the Rashba in the middle. I got this svara of the Rashba. This, whoa. What just happened over here? Everybody's sitting quietly. And guys, what happened? The answer is when they're sitting, their life, it's like something that you can't stop thinking about. You have to get to the level in life where you can't stop thinking about, really, it's Torah. That's how it was. That's a life. You know? And that's really you have to understand. That's what they did. It's not like they're sitting down very quietly, but they know what they're thinking. They came to Rav Shach once, and they told Rav Shach, my wife, she's making me do my dishes. That's what happened. My wife made me do dishes. I have to sit and learn. So they asked Rav Shach, husband and wife. They came to Rav Shach. All right, what should we do? He says, do the dishes. What? Don't you tell us torah? And now you tell me my wife complains a little bit. You tell me we go to do the dishes? He says, yes, do the dishes. The conversation finished. Husband and wife go. The younger man, the Avred Kola, comes back to Yeshiva the next day. Says, I want to speak to you. He says, what do you think when you're doing dishes? What do you think you're doing? You're not thinking of the ritzvah when you're doing the dishes? You're just doing dishes like this? This is what Rav Shach said. Rav Shach says, what do you think? You don't help your wife? Help your wife. But when you're helping her and you're doing the dishes, what are you thinking about? You got to be thinking in the ritzvah. You got to be thinking in the Rashba. You got to be thinking in the Tosfot. You got to be doing that. Why? Because that is our breath, our breathing, our life, our everything. That's what it is. And that's why then talk about Torah day and night. What are you talking about? When you're sitting in your house and you finally relax, ready to put your foot up on the couch, just chill out, relax, this, that. You teach your children, you teach your wife. This is our life. Let me tell you a Dvar Torah. That's what's got to be. Shabbat table, you got to enjoy, but stick it in the Dvar Torah. Guys, you want to hear something amazing? Say a story, say something, but that's what it is. That's the way of life. What's I'm walking, and he's telling me what? Talk and learning. You know it says, Tu Talmidei Chachamim. The Gemara says, Tu Talmidei Chachamim that are walking, and you know which Gemara? It speaks about it. It says, by Yosef. Yosef tells his brothers, what did it say? Al tirgezu badarich. You know what that means? So the Gemara says over there, what does it mean, al tirgezu badarich? It means, you just found out that what? That Yosef is alive. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to go ahead, and you're going to go talk about it. You're going to go tell your father, and but what? Maybe what? But what? You're going to go tell your dad. You're going to tell Abba, Yaakov. Yaakov, we're going to go tell Yaakov. So Yosef warns his brothers, before you go speak to Yaakov, before you go speak to him, let me tell you something. Al tergezu badarek. What does that mean? The Gemara says, it means, be careful in talking and learning. What is Yosef saying? Yosef is saying, I know what you're going to do. You're going to be talking and learning when you go out. You're going to be talking about the Gemara, the Torah, everything like that. And what's going to happen? You're going to lose your way. And you're not going to tell my father. It's going to be too late. You got to go right away. Tell the news. So the Gemara asks a question. You know what the Gemara asks? The Gemara says, whoa. We have another Gemara that says, Tu Talmidei Chachamim. It says, listen to this. Tu Talmidei Chachamim that are walking. And they're not speaking the Torah. You know what it says? What's the punishment? Chayav mitah, the Gemara says it. You can look it up. You give me Gemara Tainis, I'll show you exactly where it is. It says, Chayav mitah. Yeah? It says, but you say to yourself, are you kidding me? Why are they Chayav mitah? By the way, it says, Tu Talmidei Chachamim. Tu Talmidei Chachamim. I mean, it could be, if two businessmen, it could be, might be different. But Tu Talmidei Chachamim, Chayav mitah, they Chayav in death penalty. If they're walking without saying Divrei Torah. So the Gemara says, Yosef, how could you tell them not to learn when they're walking? It says if you don't learn when you're walking, Chayav mitah. The Gemara says, no. I meant not learning in depth. Of course they're learning Torah, but not in depth when they're walking and during the way. They can't learn in depth because they can lose their way. But of course they can learn. Of course they can learn. But you see what's going on over here? You say to yourself, okay, even when I'm walking, take a businessman. You're in business, Josh, right? Yes or no? How hard is it, Freddie, until you're sitting down and studying and learning, okay? Be careful. You're a businessman, yeah? How long are you thinking about when you have a business deal? Is it hard to not focus on it? When you're making like crazy money and it's going and it's moving, is it hard to like, wait, are you able to you're thinking about your business 24/7, yes or no? I can't hear you. Of course. Am I right or no? What?
It's all on your head.
It's all in your head. You know, I'll never forget. One time I spoke, one of my friends was telling me, there was a discussion on the table once. What would you rather be? An owner of a company or a worker for a company? And we're going around, I want to be the owner, I want to be the owner. And then one kid on the table, my friend actually said, I'll never forget his words. He said, he wants to be a worker. So why? If I give you a choice to be an owner or a worker, why would you not want to be an owner? So he said like this. He said, do you know what an owner is thinking about 24/7? You're not understanding. When the store closes, what happens? What happens to a worker? 9 to 5, it's done. That guy is done. You ever go to the bank? I'll never forget, I'll go to the bank. You go to the bank, 5 o'clock is over, they don't care. I'm depositing $1 million. Too bad. 5 o'clock, my work is done. My work is done. Right? That's what it is. 9 to 5, I'm done. 9 to 6, I'm done. They don't want to work extra. That's it. They come home to their families. The business is off. The emails is off. The phone is off. I'm not dealing with no business after 6 o'clock. And I go take the owner. What is the owner doing? 24/7, he's thinking about it. He comes home and he's thinking, oh, maybe this, maybe I should do that, maybe we can do this, maybe we get this deal done, that deal done. So now he says so the guy tells us, I'd rather be a worker. He says, why? Because a worker, he actually has a sanity of mind. And by the way, if you ask this to people, ask this to owners of big companies, you'll see the same thing. Maybe it's not such a bad day. If I have a good salary, why not? Well, I'll just be a worker. Why not? Good salary, why should I be the owner of it? All right, yeah, so the owner has a lot more. Big deal. You know how much stress is on his head? You understand what's going on over here? Huh? Takes the hair off. You see, he's already getting gray, huh? Yeah, that's what you got to wear out, huh? But that's what it is. Imagine. So now, why should that be different than Torah? Why should it be different than Torah? When you're walking, and you're talking, and you're thinking, it should be on your mind. I can't stop learning. When you're about to fall asleep, I'm thinking of learning. When you wake up in the morning, one day, I'm thinking of learning. When you go out, I'm thinking of learning. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. And that's why it says, Im Bechukotai. What does it say? Telechu. What does it mean, Telechu? It doesn't say, Im Bechukotai, Tilmedu. Oh, you have to be Amel and learning. No. Telechu. It has to be a way of life. It has to be a way of life. It's like the way you conduct yourself, the way you, this is my life. What? Torah is my life, that's it. What are you talking about? I don't think about anything else. You know, there's NBA players where they interview him, he said, in my mind, there's only one thing, basketball, that's it. He only down it. If a guy's doing about basketball game, imagine a Jew, he has to think, downloading in my brain, Torah, that's what I'm doing. It has to be a way of life. It has to be a way of life. It's a very famous story about the Gaon of Vilna's nephew. Anybody ever hear the story about the Gaon of Vilna's nephew? I saw a story today. I remember it many years ago, and it came back today. What happened with the Gaon of Vilna's nephew? Anybody know? What happened was, he gets married, and you know, back in the day, they gave out silver. They gave out silver, you know, he had a lot of silver. That was like the commodity back in the day. Silver. And it says, the story goes, how he was sitting there, and he got robbed. The Gaon nephew got robbed. And his silver got stolen. And it says that he followed the nephew of the Gaon of Vilna, followed the tracks, trying to find him, and maybe the stealer would be in Vilna. So he went all the way to Vilna to see if the guy was there. As he's there, maybe the robber is there, maybe he'll find the Gaon. He says, now that I'm in Vilna, let me see my uncle, who? The Vilna Gaon, the Gra. So the Gra says, listen to this, I might even actually be able to read it to you. Right? Oh. Mesupar al ben achei Gra. The Gra. Shaya gar michutz leVilna. The Gaon of Vilna's nephew was living past Vilna. La'achar nisuav, after he gets married, what does it say? Nignevu mimenu kol kli kesef shelo. His silver got stolen. V'nasa ha'avre leVilna. He went to Vilna. Ulai yuchal limtzot ha'ganav. Maybe he could find the ganav. And what happened? Listen to this. Listen what happened. What happened? So we told Vilna. Nichnas Lomar Shalom Aleichem to his uncle, the Gra. V'Agra Shalom Ma'asekan. What are you doing over here? I know you don't live in Vilna. What are you doing here? And that's what he says. He says, listen, this is what happened. There was a Ganav. I came to see him. Hear the words of the Gaon of Vilna. The Gaon of Vilna says, "B'mishpacha," quote unquote, "B'mishpacha shalanu yodim ma chashivut Torah." We know in our life what's the importance of Torah. Hayitachen lizgor et haGemara b'shvil limtzok kli kesef. Is it proper to close the Gemara to find some silver? It was a wild thing. The problem is people have to get it in their brain, and you have to download in your brain how much the chashivut the Torah is again and again and again. Even if you hear it 150 billion times, it finally clicks. It really clicks, and you say, "Wow!" It pops. Like, yes, that's what it is. You know, everybody knows the famous story of Hillel HaZaken, where he had no money and he was going, and then finally going to the roof, and you had to pay back in the day to come to shiur. You couldn't just come into shiur for free. What do you think this is? You have to pay. You have to pay to come to the Beit Midrash. And that day he didn't have money on him. What did he do? He went all the way top, all the way to the top. He went on the skylight to listen. What happens? It was snowing, ice. He turned to it was like ice. The next day, they go to the Beit Midrash and they see what's going on over here. There's something on top of the roof. And what is that? See, like a whole something stuck, ice, all ice. What's going on? They melted down. The Hillel HaZaken was there. So what are you doing? He said he didn't have money to go in. He had to get Torah, and what happens? He froze, and therefore they had to heat it up. Ever since then, they said, by the way, we're not charging. You want to come to learn? It's free. The Beit Midrash is always open for free. After that story, now I have a question. Hillel HaZaken is there. He doesn't feel that snow is coming on him. He doesn't feel that ice is coming on him. He doesn't feel that. I just don't understand. He doesn't feel that, by the way, he's freezing, gonna freeze. Too focused. I have news for you. Could be he was too focused. I have news for you. Yes. I want to add to that. Besides being too focused, I want to add to that. He understood that he can't breathe without it. He understood that he can't live without it. This is my life. This is the way of life. I cannot do it. I can't do it. You know, I want to tell you a small story that happened over the trip. You know, there was a guy, he forgot his phone in one of the taxis. He forgot his phone during the taxi. It's true. Yes, ask the guys what happened. That guy said, literally, he's like, I can't go out on my phone. So look, we have a plane to catch. We can't wait for you. No, I'm getting my phone. You know what happened? Listen to this. Ask your brother, Jack. He was on the trip. Listen to what he says. He literally did. He took it. He found out we took an Uber basically, a way to get it, a taxi Uber. He found out which car it was, called the guy, and he said, listen, we got to go to the airport. He met him at the airport, exactly where Delta was, where we're going, and he transactioned the phone. I said, what'd you do? I said, Rabbi, I can't live without my phone. I was like, oh my goodness, you went crazy for your phone. Imagine how crazy you can't live without Torah. You know, it's funny because how far would you go to learn? How far would you go? Are you tired and I can't learn anymore? Or you're dead tired and I learn double? How do you feel, huh, Josh? I'm dead tired. Trust me, you can see him, I'm wiped out. You learn double? Or what? Or just say, but fold in the towel. No, I know. I have one of my best friends in a business. You call him up, 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, Ronnie, what are you doing, Ronnie? Like, what are you doing? Tells me, I got to finish quota tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. It has to be on the CEO's desk. I was like, whoa, that's what it is. You got to do what you got to do in life. And you got to make it a mahalik in life. You got to know. You got to get it again and again and again and again. Im Bechukotai. It doesn't say Im Bechukotai tilmedu. Because it's not just learning. Learning means it's a subject. You close it. I learned. I'm good. When you close your Gemara is not over. It's supposed to be walking with you. It's supposed to be talking to you. It's supposed to be, when it says Gemara, what is it? Where you have the angels are surrounding you when you're learning Gemara. Gimel Mem Resh Aleph. What is it? Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriah. They're all surrounding you when you're learning Gemara. It's not a joke. You think it's a joke? I love this story, and you know the story. I'm going to say it anyway. Listen to the story. Famous story with the Havetz Chaim. He came to one of the relatives, and he stands by the steps. And he's about to walk, and he says, "I can't come in." So why can't come in? I can't come in. I can't come in. Why? He says, I see pages of Gemara on the floor. So the Chavetz Chaim's relative says, where? Oh, you don't see all over. What? Where? All over. The whole floor is all over. Blood Gemara. Blood Gemara is all over the floor. Says, what? Where? I'll pick it up right now. Listen to what Chaim said to him. So let me tell you something. Says, you see the floor? Back in the day, Chavetz Chaim's time, there wasn't no tile, marble, carpet. It was just regular dirt. That's the way it was. You had a broom. Go look at the halachot of Shabbat. How many halachot is there to sweep? Maybe you'll come to fill in a ditch. Maybe you won't fill in a ditch. A whole billion things. There was no such thing as tiles back in the day. It was all dirt floor. One of the Chavetz Chaim's relatives made money, and he put very hashuv tiles. So Chavetz Chaim says, you took time out of your Gemara to make money, to put tiles. That time that you took to make money, to go put tiles, you could have took that and learned about Gemaras with it. Imagine. Chavetz Chaim says, why is it that a person can talk so fast? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? I was on the plane, there was somebody sitting next to me. I was like, ole, can you change my seat, miss? I can't anymore. No joke, can you change my seat, Dachilak? I asked for the upgrade. I said, can you upgrade? I'll pay double, I want a separate seat by myself. Khalas, I'm not doing this. Talking to me. I was like, the guy never stops. The guy, I thought maybe next story he's going to stop. And the guy's talking. Chavetz Chaim says, you know why we're able to talk so fast? So you can get more mitzvot in learning Torah. Yeah? That's what he says. I'll show it to you. I have a saver in my house. He says, because the more you talk, learning, you have more and more. That's what it is. Huh? That's what it is. Talking and learning. It's like, why? Because again, that's it. That's everything for us. I want to just conclude with one last thing. That says over here, even then, at the end of the day, when the art scroll came out, I'm going to finish with this. When the art scroll came out, Joey, listen, Joey. When the art scroll came out, it was a big debate. I don't know if you remember. You remember or no? What big debate? If the English Hebrew Gemaras. I believe it was Rav Shach that was Keneged, and some big Rosh Yeshivas were no. And they didn't say, why? What's the pshat? And he says, look, because part of learning is to actually break your head and figure it out. That's part of learning. Yeah, you can go, your Rebbe could give you the Tosfot over in a nutshell. But you work it out first, and then let him explain it to you. But you work! A lot of times the guy wants to hear a shir, that's it, finished. I hear the whole thing, I'm good. But did you learn it? In yeshivas, we prepare shir. Many in the yeshivas, how does it work in the yeshivas? We prepare 3 hours, and the Rebbe gives a shir for 1 hour. What's the preparation? Let him give the shir for the hour. Because part of Torah is, to you amelim b'Torah, you have to put your efforts in it. You literally have to put your efforts in it. You yourself, in learning, you have to put your efforts in it. And you have to know, it is your life. Hillel HaZaken, he understood that he was getting frozen. But even though freezing, he says to himself, how can I leave my life? How? How can I leave my life? Therefore, a person understands, I'm going to end off with this last thing, that I love this with a passion. The Zohar says, Yarita al-Mahada, Yarita Mesechta Chada, Yarita al-Machada. You know what that means? If you yoresh one Masechet, the Gemara, from cover to cover, you go, you sit down, and you steig, and you review, and you review, and you review, and you really, really know the Masechta, you really know the Gemara from cover to cover, you're promised, the Zohar says this, you're promised after 120 a world. You know what a world means? It doesn't mean a house, it doesn't mean a mansion, it doesn't mean an island, it doesn't mean a city, it doesn't mean a town, it doesn't mean a country, it doesn't mean a continent. It means a world. It means oceans. It means 7 continents. It means every single, you know what a world is? You know what a world is? But what? You have to know it. What does it mean? It's not just going through it. Yes, go through the whole shas, go through it. But know it! How are you going to know it? You review it again and 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 again. I was driving last week. I saw Rabbi Victor Miller's grandson. And he was, Rabbi Brock, Yehuda Brock. He was going to his shul. Said, does the Rebbe need a ride? I said, how important is to review the Gemara? So he says, when I was 16, I told my grandfather, Rabbi Miller, I'm learning Masechet Berachot. What do you think? Is it a good idea? It's a very good idea. But I'll make sure you review. He says, how many times? He said a lot. He said over like 20. It was like 40, 20. He said, all right, we'll do good with 20, 10, like in those levels, like 20, 10. Like don't think you know from cover to cover. That's how they did it. They know from cover to cover. Review it again and again and again, and you'll feel the sweetness of it. You'll feel the gishmak of it. You'll feel the beauty of it. And there's nothing like Torah. There's nothing greater than any pleasure of Torah. Every physical thing in the world, you always get tired of. You have to understand that. You buy an amazing car. You're loving it for the first 2 weeks, for the first 2 months. After that, you get used to it. You built a gorgeous house. After a few months, it's your house. You don't start coming, whoa! Did you ever see that? You ever walk into a gorgeous mansion? You ever walk into a gorgeous mansion? Did you? Yes, I'm asking you.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, when you first walk in, did you say the truth? We're like, wow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell me, the owner, when he walks in after 5 years, does he say, wow? Does he? No, why not?
Because you already.
Why not, Freddie?
You already experienced.
Exactly, because the flavor is not there anymore. It's done. But take a guy who learned the same Masechta, the same Gemara, 50 times, from cover to cover. He opens up it again. It feels so good. Wow, it's like delicious. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like something like you can't even describe unless you experience it yourself. And don't think that you can't do it. It's just work. Put in the work. Put in the work. Put in the work. People don't want to work. Oh, God, don't want to work. This rabbi spoon for me. No, I don't want to look in the Gemara. What should I say? Why should I write notes? What should I do? Da. No. You got to put in the work. When you put in the work, Torah is telling you, Im Bechukotai. It didn't say tilmedu. Telechu. Telechu means make it a way of life. This is what I do. What do you do? What do you do? You know, the guy tells me, you know, you don't have a neshama, he tells me. I'm not joking. Imagine somebody comes up to you, Freddie, tells you, you don't have a neshama. I say, you crazy? He says, no. He tells me, you are a neshama. You have a body. That's what he tells me. I was like, actually, that's a pretty good line. You are a neshama. You have a body. Let's get it straight. And that's what happened when I was in my kollel. A guy came to me and he sat and I said, what are you doing in the kollel today? He said, I got fired from my job. I have nothing else to do. So I'm sitting and learning. I said, buddy, you got it totally wrong. You got it opposite, complete opposite. What are you doing? He says, listen, I'm not working today, so I might as well learn. You got it completely opposite. I'm always learning, but when I can't learn, I'm also working. That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm always learning, just when I have to, I'm going to work. But you're always learning. This is life, Rabotai. Make it your life. This is life, like it says, Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, our life and our long days.